We're so glad you're here in the house. I'm Pastor Corey. I just about said I'm Pastor Aaron. I'm Pastor Corey. I know who I am. Great job, choir. Can we give it up for the choir? I love Resurrection Sunday. I love that building capacities don't matter because they don't work on Sundays, the fire people. Pastor Aaron and I, we came here about 8 years ago, and we had the privilege of being called to start a church in Airdrie, and we came with about 30 people who are still with us here, and God has done some pretty incredible things since then, and some of y'all, you just need family, that's what I think, but God is doing great things in our city as well. In fact, we have a new building that's going up right beside us here. It's twice the size. It's going to be incredible. So if you want a building tour, we'll tell you how to do that with our hosting team at the end. But I got a text from Mayor Peter today, and he's traveling with his family right now. I think he's going to see his son. But he sent me a text I wanted to pass along to you. He said, "Proud to know you. The positive difference Venue makes on a grand scale," he said. And I thought that was incredible. He said, "Happy Easter, Pastor Corey." And so I wanted to greet you from the mayor today. Also, because he's watching. You started your text by saying Happy Thanksgiving, so I'm not sure. You said Happy Easter, you got there, but anyways, so, which I thought was kind of funny. Maybe the stress is getting to him. This is a weird sermon. I can't preach like a regular sermon, so this is going to be another weird one and a long line of weird ones. This is going to be Resurrected Jesus through the eyes of, and here's my title, Doubting Thomas. And I might be talking about you today. Thanks, Sean. Doubting Thomas. Jesus has clearly risen. In fact, he has risen. It is the turning point of human history. He has risen. He has not been hiding what he is doing for 2,000 years. He hasn't been doing it in a corner. He has affected the lives of hundreds of millions of people. So on that side of it, Jesus is clearly risen, is clearly God, can clearly save, but that doesn't mean it's happening to you. That doesn't mean you can see what's clear. And today's sermon, Doubting Thomas, just because something is there and real doesn't mean that you see it. We're so proud as humans. You know, the fact that you trust your own brain is, you know, your brain was there for every stupid thing you've ever done. In fact, it was like cheering you on. It was like, you know what's a great idea? You should jump your bike off of that thing. You should go hang out at that guy's house. Come on, like it was there in full agreement. It talked you into it. And then 5 minutes later, after the dumbest thing you've ever done, you're like, you know what? I don't know. Because it's not what your eyes see, it's what your brain believes and your heart. Now, Thomas is in this funny little place here, but just because something is there and real doesn't mean that you see it. I drove past this, it was only a few houses down where we used to live. And I drove past it twice every day to work. And for like a couple of months, I missed an entire apartment building going up. I didn't see it. Like I saw it, but I didn't see it until the roof was on it. And then I said to Pastor Aaron, I'm like, that went up quick. And she's like, no, it didn't though, right? Now, I think because we can see some things, we sort of tend to think that we can see all things, and we have this short memory. Maybe it's that our heart doesn't know how to handle failure properly. But you know, I can like in my garage, I live with 5 women, so my garage is all I've got, and like there's some people that don't go to Venue here. One of them is my wife, 4 of them are my daughters, so. Some of you are like, this church sounds interesting. I'm more interested, in fact, than I was a second ago. No. Biblical, 1. That's all. That's enough, guys. But, you know, so in my house, like, I don't get the house. I don't get the house part, but I get the garage, right? But I'll tell you, if somebody moves something a millimeter in there, I am like, how could you? I see everything. I'm all seeing in this garage. Like, this belongs to me, you know. But if I'm trying to find something in the pantry, come on, anybody live with a male? Let me explain this from the male's point of view, if we could, because Come on. Guy power. Girls, I know that you got your own little gang going on, which is every woman on earth. Okay. You don't believe, okay. A guy and a girl walks in here, and they're arguing. Whose team are you on? Yeah, right. I figured it out. Like, it's not... Okay, so guys, we need to stick together in this one. So we're in the pantry, guys, and we're looking. And this is me. I'm like, where's the peanut butter, Erin? And she's sitting down watching TV or something. Where's the peanut butter? And she's like, it's in there. I'm like, it's not, though, because I wouldn't say it if it was. You know. And then she starts into a description. And descriptions have words, a lot of them. And it's like 3 rows up, 2 things over between the white salt box with the blue letters, and like 3 words in, I'm not listening. I'm like, it's not here. If I get up, it's there. I'm like, it's not, though. And if you get up and you come over and you're like, oh, somebody did move the peanut butter, then you get to apologize in front of everybody. Is that what you want? And she's like, if I get up, that's every time. I'm like, and then she comes over and she's like, you're literally holding it. You've been touching it the whole time, right? And that is called witchcraft, and that's not right. Because it wasn't there, and all of a sudden... So imagine Thomas is in this bind where all his best friends have just said, we've seen Jesus. And Thomas is like, no, though. Well, there's a condition going on in Thomas. And Thomas is just a bit broken. I don't really blame Thomas. I think doubts are okay. I think questions are okay. But Thomas lets it get actually further than that. Thomas is just broken. We have a doodle. Is that what she is? She's a dog. She's a dog who thinks she's a person. Her name is Daisy, and Daisy's got a bit of a problem. But just because something is happening and it's real doesn't mean that you believe what you're seeing, right? So so we live in Coopers. Anybody live in Coopers? It's been recently voted the best community in Airdrie to live in. By the inhabitants of Coopers. Yeah. I saw all those banners in town. We're like, oh, this looks like a great neighborhood, recently voted. Yeah. But the only people who vote are people who live there. So, winning. Who won the race? Somebody in Coopers. Was it a Coopers race? Yes, it was. So anyways, but we have walking paths. We always go out walking and praying, and now we have a dog to take with us. And so Daisy, as we're walking along, Daisy's just broken like Thomas now, but Daisy's got a great house. She lives better than the humans do at the house. But we're walking, and has anybody... so we have an Easter bunny problem in Coopers. And we've got bunnies everywhere. They're all over the place. And bunnies leave things behind them, right? And so Daisy, as we're walking, we're not stepping on it, right? Because you don't want to step on it. But Daisy's like, oh, I shouldn't step on whatever that is. And then Daisy's like, I wonder what that is. And then she smells it, and she's like, ooh, glad I didn't step on it. And then she's like, but I wonder. Like. And now Daisy has a shameful secret. Now when we say walk, Daisy's like, yeah. It's a buffet out there. It's incredible out there. We call it Temptation Alley. She is a vacuum cleaner, man. Like, you don't have to worry. The city doesn't have to clean up nothing back there. Daisy's like, I told Pastor Aaron, I'm going to tell this story while Daisy is pulling on the leashes. Like, come on, let me at it. There's pirate treasure in here, man. I'm going to come across the mother lode. Now, here's the funny thing about Daisy. You know that can't taste good. You know that you ain't kissing anybody after that. Pre-shot. It's true. But Daisy's addicted to it. Why? It's kind of like sin, though, right? Like the adrenaline gets you pumping and you're like, oh, this is new. This is great. For a little bit, though. For a little bit. Here's the funny thing about Daisy is back in the house, she has more expensive dog food. She has more expensive food than I feed the kids. It costs more. It tastes better. I've tried both, and this tastes better. Why does she keep going back to that alley when she could be eating like a queen in the house? Well, how much food you have in the fridge doesn't matter if you're not in the fridge. Now, I'm going to tie this together with a story about Thomas. Thomas is just kind of broken. But his best friends are like, we've seen Jesus. And he's like, no, though. Because he's too, and maybe this is you, he's too hurt to hear. He's too empty to eat. He's too stressed to see. He's been living with them for 3 years. He loves them. They're family. They've just said, we've had an encounter with Jesus. And Thomas is like, no. And I don't really blame Thomas all that much. He's just endured a massive shock to his system. But maybe his heart just can't handle the disappointment. You know, you can think about it like this. Like, everybody gets hurt and everybody gets betrayed. Then you walk into the house like this and you're like, if Jesus is real, I've liked people before that have hurt me, but if I come to love him and he's not who he says he is, or he's not who these people say that he is, he looks like it, but if he's the real deal and I get rejected, or he doesn't like me, or I screw this up, sometimes it's easier just to stay in the back path and keep vacuuming. God is big enough for your doubts. But here's the thing. God is not big enough for your doubts until he's your dad. You know, I was thinking about this. My dad went on vacation, took the family on vacation. My dad's in Cuba right now. Mom and dad are there. And they are feeding an entire village of people because of your generosity. And so this is like Easter Sunday in Cuba. We got some couples, some venue people there. My dad would take us on vacation. My brother was about 6, my little brother, and he was sitting between my grandma and I. My grandma came with us, and we were on vacation. My brother kept leaning forward and saying, hey, Dad, how much does gas cost? And he was keeping a little spreadsheet. We got any spreadsheet people here? Yeah, something wrong. Look at these people and judge them. And something's not right. But he'd be like, he'd be tabulating. He'd be like, Dad, how much does McDonald's cost him? And he'd go and write it down. He goes, Dad, how much do hotels cost? And this is like in the 80s, so like $4. Like $4. Then he leans forward, very concerned. He used to cross his little legs, and he crossed his legs, and he leaned forward, and he said, Dad, my grandma just died laughing. Dad, do you think that we can afford this vacation? I feel like that's kind of like you, though, right? Like, God, I can't afford my life right now. I'm worried. I'm disconnected. I feel like there's a whole lot more than I don't feel connected to you particularly or people. I've got a problem called sin. I don't know what to do with it. I can't afford it. Therefore, maybe you can. And my dad wasn't a guy who talked a lot. He was just a guy who had these like eyebrows that he would just be like. And I feel like God's eyebrows. But listen, here's the problem. Just because there's a good dad driving past in a car that's paid for on a vacation doesn't mean you're in the car going with him. That doesn't make him your dad. That doesn't make it your car. That doesn't make it your family. In fact, Jesus holds the door open. He's like, I'm the door to this car. And he's literally reaching out right now. And you're like, see, this is where it's not a religion. It's a relationship. And Jesus may be a religion. Maybe you're a creaster. You come at Christmas and Easter. It's a religion. But it's not a relationship. And so it's not the religion that can save you. Believing that there is a car doesn't save you. Believing that God is good, believing in Jesus doesn't save you. Getting in the car is what saves you. And Jesus is reaching out today saying like, and Thomas is in a funny spot because he knows all of this. He's lived with Jesus, but he's so broken that he doesn't know what to do next. Now listen, my brother's doubts couldn't keep the vacation from happening. But your doubts, if unchecked, can actually get you out of the car. Everybody in the car is going on vacation. Everybody in the car is going to heaven. In this world, Jesus said, you will have trouble, but be of good cheer. I've overcome the world. One day we get to heaven. All of our tears will be wiped away. We'll have lived in purpose. We'll have done something that mattered with our lives. Yeah, we got to pick up a cross daily and follow our master, but it's incredible. We get it all in the end. Well, that doesn't mean it's where you're going. Mary was standing outside the tomb crying, and as she wept, she stooped and looked in. This is Mary Magdalene. Now, Mary's another broken person. She saw 2 white-robed angels, one sitting at the head, the other at the foot. Now, picture this in your mind of the place where the body of Jesus had been lying. So here's the thing. She's been here for a while. Peter and John have already been here, and they have gone back to hang out with the boys, which is what we do because we have a short attention span. We're like, oh my goodness, the tomb's empty. Like, what do we do? But Mary's still here. Why is Mary still here when they're not here anymore? I don't think Mary has any other place to go right now. It's not like she doesn't have relationships, but Mary's broken. I'll get to her in a second, but she sees these two angels in the tomb. Now, this is a funny thing. If you see angels in a tomb, you don't say this. They said, dear woman, why are you crying? Because they have taken away my Lord, she replied, and I don't know where they have put him. And now they're kind of smiling a little bit, not at her pain, but they're smiling a little bit because they know something that she doesn't know. Well, number one, they know that they're angels. She literally tells these angels, I don't know where that's not how you talk to angels. Like, I don't know, somebody stole Jesus and I don't know where they put him. She's so fixated on, now why is she fixated on this? She turned to leave and saw someone standing there. And this is why the angels were kind of smiling, I think. It was Jesus, but she didn't recognize him. Well, this is weird. She's lived in and around him for 3 years. He didn't change. He didn't become a Teletubby. You know what I'm saying? It's still Jesus. He shows like it's still his body. Maybe he's shining, but it's still him. It's not somebody different. It's not Renee. It is true. But she didn't recognize him. It had nothing to do with him. When we're doubting sometimes, it's like, I don't know if I can believe that out there. I don't know that Jesus is real. I don't know if there's enough proof. I don't know, because I'm so logical and I understand what I see and I see all the things that are there. And everything that I doubt is because of something on the other side of the equation. But this had nothing to do with the other side of the equation. It had to do with her condition. This is what Spurgeon says on Mary Magdalene. Those who, see, Jesus had cast out 7 demons from inside of her. If you watch The Chosen, it gives you an emotional template for Mary Magdalene. Those who were possessed with these evil spirits, Spurgeon says, were defiled thereby, as well as made unhappy. For a heart cannot become a kennel for the hounds of hell without being rendered filthy and polluted. The reason she can't see him is because she hasn't slept in 3 days, because her protector is gone. And if he's gone, the one who freed her, is she going back? Are those things coming back? Is her life coming back? Is the betrayal coming back? Is her sin coming back? Clean, but is she going back? It's her condition. It has nothing to do with Jesus. Your condition keeps you from seeing Jesus, but proximity is everything. Watch. Dear woman, why are you crying? Jesus asked her. Who are you looking for? She thought he was the gardener. Oh, Canadians. Well, I'd believe Jesus if he showed up. Would you, though? Or would you think he was cutting the grass? Like, are you here for the grass? No. There's nothing wrong with cutting grass. Listen. She thought it was the gardener. She thought he was just another ordinary person who couldn't help her. Because nobody can help her. And this is so surprising. If you come to Christ, you've been surprised by how Jesus showed himself to you. That surprise and that shock, he can't reach a proud heart. He can't reach a proud heart. The shock brings humility. And that's how he speaks. Sir, she said, if you've taken him away. Now, hear this as if you're Jesus. Just pretend. Everybody will have to pretend a lot. Okay, pretend that I'm Jesus. And Mary's saying to me, use your imagination. If you have taken you away, tell me where you have put you and I will go get you. Jesus said, watch this, Mary. And she turned to him. Jesus said, your name, would you turn to him? The one she is looking for, she's not looking at. She's looking for him where he's not. He's right there. She turns, she stops her life direction and goes this way because he has spoken her name. Watch. she says, Rabboni, which means Hebrew for teacher. Mary Magdalene found the disciples and told them, I have seen the Lord. Then she gave them his message. That Sunday evening, the disciples were meeting behind locked doors because they were afraid of the Jewish leaders. Suddenly, Jesus was standing there among them. Peace be with you, he said. Now, if I could do this, I would do this every day to you. I'd just be like, show up, be like, you'd be in the office, and I'd be like, hey, what's up? Peace be with you. Now, this is incredible. They're locked doors. They're all afraid of dying because their masters just died. The Jewish leaders are on a rampage right now, and they are scared to death. They're behind locked doors, and Jesus just like, it's like, I had a friend in school. His name was Steven. Every time he did something bad, the principal put his head in the room. He had spidey senses, man, just like, boom. Eraser across the room, boom. Steven. As he spoke, watch this, he showed them the wounds in his hand and his side. So it's him. He's there. He's real. He's not a ghost. They were filled with joy when they saw the Lord. So they went from the same condition Thomas was in to joy. So frustration, doubt, Jesus, joy. But watch what happens to Thomas. One of the 12, Thomas, was not with the others when Jesus came. Where was he? He was out on the back path. Everybody else in the house, he's in the back path. He's vacuuming. He's eating his fears, his doubts. Watch. They told him, we've seen the Lord. He said, I won't. Hold on. This is not doubt. This is not doubt. Doubt has turned into something dangerous. He says, I'll explain what this is translated as. I won't believe it until I see the nail wounds and then, because Thomas is gross, until I put my fingers into his hands and my hand into the wound in his side. And I'm like, I'd just be like, it's real. You know, but some of you are like scientific, right? I walked in one time, I can't preach a not funny sermon. It's because I'm hilarious. I walked in one time and my wife, Pastor Erin, is watching eye surgery. They record that. And I'm like, I'm watching for a few seconds and I'm like, is that, oh. And then you realize what it is that you're seeing? And I'm like, no. Don't have gross friends. That's what more. I married my gross friend. You're not gross. But you're weird. You got problems. This is not, I have doubts, I have questions. This is, I won't believe. This translated means I will not. Because doubts unchecked go to this place. I will not. This is what it means. I will. I'm hurt. I'm mad. I'm scared. I will not be impelled by a certain inner and higher prerogative and law of soul. You can call me up here, but I won't go there. I can't. I won't do it. This means I will not acknowledge this fact or this event. You can come to church for 20 years and not acknowledge this fact and this event, that you can't just be around Jesus and be whatever you want. No matter how many people experience this is what he's saying, I won't. No matter how many people you change, I won't. 8 days later, this is a long 8 days. Because now he's alone in that back alley. And it's just him and whatever's going on in his head. And this time Thomas was with them, though. Watch this. So this can all be turned around. Because now Thomas is like, okay. I've been getting weird out there. He's with them. The doors were locked, but suddenly as before Jesus is standing among them. Peace be with you. He freaks everybody out. Then he says to Thomas, hey, gross disciple, put your finger here and look at my hands. Put your hand into the wound on my side. Watch this. He doesn't say don't doubt. Don't have questions. Don't be hurt. He says, don't be faithless any longer, believe. He says, this word translated means you have become unfaithful. You can doubt and be faithful. You can doubt whether your spouse loves you and be faithful. He said, what has happened to Thomas is something that happens to each of us, and it comes out of pain, is that all the disciples were frustrated and fearful. But remember now, the doubt led to Jesus, led to joy. But his frustration led to doubt. His doubt led to bitterness. His bitterness led to isolation. And his isolation led to unfaithfulness. But he makes a beautiful decision, and this is what he says. My Lord and my God, Thomas exclaimed. That word Lord translated means, you ready? You are now the possessor and disposer of me. I still have questions. I still have fears. I'm still hurt. I don't know the future. But I am giving myself to you. You now are my owner. You are my master. You can dispose of this life however you want to. It's a decision. It's a decision that goes against everything he's feeling, but it's a decision that he makes that now I belong to you. Do whatever you want to. I'm going to do what you say now. I'm sorry before. It wasn't you. It was never you. It was me. But I'm going to come and bring all my pain here. And if you handle it, you handle it. And if you don't, you don't. But I want to live on purpose and I want to belong to you. Jesus told him, you believe, you committed your trust because you have seen me. Blessed are those at Venue Church, Easter 2025, who believe me without seeing me. Come on up, worship. Come on up, choir. You know what? There is one doable thing there that we miss, and we think that we're better than sometimes, or we think that God allows something different. And that is this, that the next time the disciples gathered, Thomas was there. In fact, I don't think he ever missed church again. And we have this thing, I hear this as a pastor all the time, like, I believe in God. I'm like, you see a car driving by and somebody's driving it. Great. The devil sees the same car. Well, no, I pray to God all the time. I'm like, okay, but are you in the car, though? Because the car, ready, is the church, though. Is the house, though. Is where Jesus is, though. You're not out on the back path. Let me put it to you like this, because I know it's a story that you told yourself about why you're back there. Like, no, I have a relationship. Like, no, I'm walking with you. I'm like, hold on. But the house is where Jesus is, though, right? If I left my house and my wife and my beautiful girls, and I left my house and say like, hey, no, we're still as connected as we were before, but they hurt me. I've been wounded in the church. And I'm like, yes, because people are there. It'd be perfect if it wasn't full of people. But then you wouldn't be allowed to go either. So there's that. But if I leave the house, I don't know that my wife and daughters would say that we have the relationship that I think that we have. And I think that today all it would cost you is your story. We're out there, we're vacuuming up stuff. I think like we got to get to this place where like, you know what, this doesn't actually taste that good. I just forgot what real food tasted like. I just forgot what I can take all my fears to the Lord, and I don't have to be proud, and I don't have to go on Facebook rants, and I can really just actually take my life to the Lord, and I can be in his house, and I can be where Jesus actually appears to the disciples. Your condition outside there will always end in bitterness and unfaithfulness when we get isolated. But Jesus has something different. And I want to invite you to pray a prayer after me. Just bow your heads and close your eyes, because I just want you to be able to have a moment here. You need to have a moment with Jesus, I think. No matter if maybe you're not even in the car. You didn't even know there was a car. You didn't know there was a relationship, a family. You didn't know that you could be saved. You didn't know salvation was free and Jesus is reaching for you. See, Jesus was reaching for Thomas, but he said something very interesting to Thomas. He said to Thomas, this is what he really summed up. He said, reach out and touch me. I'm real. Reach out and touch me. This is real. This is happening. I'm here. I'm happening to you right now. But you got to reach out. I won't reach out for you. And I think somebody here needs to come to the family of God today. I think somebody here needs to come to salvation. I think somebody here today needs to come back to God. It hasn't been 8 days out there. It's been 8 years, or it's been 28 years, and you need to come back to the faith. You need to come back. He's been dad, but he hasn't been your dad. And I want to invite you back. No matter what you've done, no matter what's been done to you, there is grace for it all. It can all be washed today by the cross of Christ. You can be adopted into this family. I want to say to somebody else too, you left church a long time ago and said, hey, I have the same relationship, but Jesus is like, no, actually, we don't though, because this is where I am. Do not forsake the assembling together of the believers. Jesus says, why? Because doubts lead to bitterness and isolation and lead to unfaithfulness. But here, doubts can lead to joy. And Father, as we come to the Lord today, pray this prayer after me if you just need to come back to the Lord. Venue Church, let's help them pray. Jesus, forgive me of my sins. I don't want my story. I want you. I want to be a part of your story. I want you to be the possessor and disposer of my life. I'm giving my life to you. I'm coming home today. In Jesus' name, amen.